What if the pain you have been carrying for years could release in a way that doesn't require reliving every detail? What if healing trauma didn't mean reopening every wound, but gently disconnecting from it? Welcome to the Happiness on Tap podcast, where we bring you real conversations about growth, healing, and transformation. I'm your host, Leanne Herron, and today I'm joined by Stacey Nye, transformational educator, master course creator, and dedicated teacher of the F.I.X code technique. With a 20-year international career producing some of the world's largest sporting events, including 4 Olympic Games, Pan American Games, and the Commonwealth Games, Stacey developed what she calls her Rubik's Cube mind, the ability to see patterns, solve complexity, and bring vision to life at the highest level. But her greatest transformation began after deeply personalized turning point, what she described as her own silent hell. 6 years later, her first session with the F.I.X code founder, Daniel Flear, changed everything. In that moment, she made a promise to understand the technique and teach it to the world. Today, through her 10 module training and ongoing course creation, Stacey guides you through a profound spiritual shift with clarity, precision, and grace. If you have ever wondered whether it's possible to stop suffering without endlessly revisiting the past, this conversation is definitely for you. Stacey, welcome to the Happiness on Tap podcast. I am so excited to have you join us today.
Thank you so much. That was a beautiful opening. Yeah. And thank you for inviting me into your space and to be here with your listeners. I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Absolutely. This is such a topic, especially for people who've gone down the rabbit hole of talk therapy, and they find that that's really what they're doing. They're just reopening those wounds every single session. And so I look forward to you talking about what you have developed to help people stop being on that hamster wheel and be able
Yeah.
to finally release these things in such a gentle way. And I want to thank you for guiding me down that path. And so I'm excited so that other people can learn what you do and get to experience a little bit of that for themselves. So we'll get started. What is your background and how did you personally get involved with the F.I.X code?
Sure. So my background, I was born into a very high frequency family, very high performing. Both parents were involved with the Olympic Games. So my imprint years of 0 to 7 were 76 Olympics, watching it all being built, groundbreaking with the shovel in the dirt and the red ribbons and then just watching the whole thing being built into like massive venues and playing at them. They were my playground when I was little. And then going to opening ceremonies and closing ceremonies of the 76 Olympic Games and kind of being there and watching all the conversations that my parents had ever had with these incredible minds, and I call them beautiful minds because they really were, and just beautiful people who were in service to excellence, the athletes and their parents and the coaches and the beautifulness of amateur sport. And so my ethics and my values were in service and in excellence. So as I moved through life, not a lot really happened. I got hurt, I got betrayed, my boyfriend here and there, like stuff happened, but nothing of any magnitude that knocked me out of my boots. And then I had a career. I had gone to the Commonwealth Games in '86. I'm aging myself here, but I was a teenager, and my dad asked me if I wanted to go to Commonwealth with him. At the time, he was the president of the Commonwealth Games Federation for Canada. So it was a summer job, and I was like, "Yeah, better than working at the local little store here, which I'll probably get fired from." So off I went to the Commonwealth Games and fell in love with all of it. And being paid was really good too. That was fun. just I turned to my dad on the plane ride home and I said, I want to do this. Like, this is what I want to do for a living. And he thought he was going to break my heart. And he said, sweetie, there's no money in amateur sport. Like, we're all volunteering. None of us you make more money than all of us. And I was like, oh my. So I said, I am going to figure this out. I'm going to figure out how to make a career in doing what I love to do in operations, in amateur sports. So I did. I ended up at the Pan Am Games, then I ended up in Olympic Games, then I ended up at another Olympic Games, and I'm like, I'm doing this. And my dad's like, keep going, girl, and you're doing it. Looking back in hindsight, my career was getting me ready and training me and forging me to know the moment that when I met Daniel and the F.I.X code, that I really was in the presence of excellence, that this was an inner space of true purity and beauty and grace. As you've experienced the technique yourself, it really is beautiful. It's kind, it's thoughtful, it is exquisite, and it's simple. Like, like it's so quantum, and in that beautiful magical space that as you experience the technique, it kind of feels like magic. It just feels effortless. It's quite exquisite. So I am offering everybody to come to the website and book a complimentary session because we showcase it to everybody that wants to try. But so when I met Daniel in 2010, I had been living for 6 years at that time in what you said in the introduction, in what I called my silent hell. In 2002, there was a horrible accident, incident, whatever we want to call it, and it ripped the fiber of my being. It challenged everything that was good in my life, and it was like hell screamed in. And I remember that night, like I could actually hear hell screaming in. I could hear it, everything through the sirens and there was two helicopters and the lights and the dogs barking, the police dogs barking and kicking doors down. And it was absolutely off the charts insane. And I had never experienced anything like that. I'd never even been in a fender bender, let alone something like the trauma that we went through that night. And so like kind of like never talked to the police or never definitely didn't have helicopters chasing people and like it was off the charts crazy. It was out of the movies. And I was also dealing with potentially losing somebody like my husband, like he was on the ground. And it was just all terrifying. And every fiber of my body just was ripping apart, even though I was holding it together, even though I was doing all the right things in the moment and then afterwards and the whole thing. I was holding it together. But over this 6 years, I was starting to unravel on the inside. On the outside, I was getting my little one dressed. I was going to work every day. I owned a gymnastics club for little kids. So, 7 days a week, 14-hour days. I never stopped. And just prior to meeting Daniel, 45 days before meeting Daniel, the last straw for me was my marriage ended of 20 years. And that was it for me. I was just like, wow, like I don't know how I'm gonna hold this yet. Like the cracks were starting to show. I thought I had held it together for a really long time, but now the cracks were starting to show. And in this moment, I was sitting in the gym in my office, and a friend of mine knocked on the door, found me, of course, crying in the dark, and she said, "Stacey, I ran into this friend of mine at a like a healing fair last week, and he's doing this incredible woohoo thing." She goes, I don't know what to call it, but it was like absolutely incredible. She goes, I tried it. I hope you don't mind. I've made you an appointment on Friday, and I'm hoping that maybe you could help him market this or tell people because you know everybody and you know how to hustle and promote things and that kind of thing. So I was like, okay, thank you. Now, nobody knew I was getting divorced. Nobody knew about this trauma 6 years ago. I hadn't told anybody outside of the very small people that were there. And so that kind of is the silent part of my hell. Like I didn't tell anybody. I wasn't living it out loud at all. I definitely did not do talk therapy because that to me is just absolutely crazy. Like, oh my gosh, that's just reliving it over and over and over, as you said. So wasn't going to do any of that. And really thought I was strong enough to navigate myself through this on my own. But I had no skills, absolutely zero skills of how to navigate myself through that kind of crazy in my head. So when I met Daniel, I walked in and I really had hope. This was the first time I had had hope in a long time that, my gosh, like, I know this guy thinks I'm here to help him, but like, I hope he can help me because I am unraveling. And when I saw him and I started to cry immediately, and he asked me to sit down, and I experienced what you experienced, that same sensation of like, I have no idea what's happening here. I'm just going to sit down and follow his instructions, close my eyes. And he did the work, which took a couple of minutes. My first extraction was called sad, and I really was sad. I was extremely sad, and he saw it all over me. And when I opened my eyes, just as you did, a couple minutes after we did the work, you opened your eyes and I opened my eyes and I couldn't feel sad. And I was flabbergasted. I was like, what just happened? And I could see why I was sad, why I had been sad. There was 1,000 reasons why I had been sad, but I couldn't feel it. There was no attachment to the events. There was no like charge. I was neutral. I was looking at the events neutral. And it was like, this is incredible. And while I was in what we now call an extraction, like that meditative state, that guided meditation, I had a moment of like clarity of, this is exquisite. It was almost like I kind of like removed myself just a little bit to be like, wow, this is cool. Like this has got a lot of like Rubik's Cube, quantum, holy crap stuff to it. I knew, and also in the process, because of the way the F.I.X code is designed by Daniel's brilliance, you are in the presence of excellence. The F.I.X code is the bridge to your unconscious mind. And it's so beautiful because your unconscious mind knows absolutely everything about you. And so it is almost like a moment where you meet your unconscious mind and it's like, hi, like, cool. Like it's a very incredible moment if you're looking at it like that. And I did. I saw the clarity and simpleness of this and the level of genius that this is, which is what my mind looks for. And I hadn't seen it in a long time because I had been truly in health for 6 years, just trying to figure out how to make a sandwich, just trying to figure out how to get little booties on my baby or whatever. I was landlocked in tasks. And as a new mom, I didn't know those tasks. We were learning every day. Every mom knows, like every day is a new learning curve. So I had enough going on. I wasn't really thinking about my mental health and I didn't have time to think of my mental health. I just kept going. But when I met Daniel, my life changed. He saved my life. He saved me and my mind and my body and my spirit because I could start to feel hope again. Like, oh my gosh, if this works, oh my gosh, this will change the world. And by the time I'd opened my eyes, which again is only a couple of minutes, I had made a whole whack of decisions that when I came back to now, I was like, if this works, I'm going to figure out what he just did and I'm going to teach the world how to do this. So when I came back to now and opened my eyes and looked at him again, I didn't even know his name. Like it all just happened so fast. So when I opened my eyes and was looking at this kind of stranger, I said to him, like, that was incredible. And he said, can you think of anything in your past now that when you think about it, makes you feel sad? And I'm looking at it, all the stories going, no, you got to be kidding me. And I couldn't feel it. I tried really hard to be like, there's no way that's gone. And it was gone. Like it was just gone. And I know all the reasons why now, but the first time you experience, you can't believe it. It's hard to believe because you've tried forever to get through it, to solve it, to conquer it, to crush it, to go over, up and around it, all sorts of things. Nothing works. This works. And I then again looked back at him and said, I am going to figure out what you just did. So my Rubik's mind took over and I became little bossy pants. And I said, I am going to figure out what you just did. And I'm going to teach the world how to do this. And he was kind of like, ooh, like, I don't know about that. I'm like, watch me. Everybody needs to learn how to do this. This is incredible. Every mom out there needs to know how to do this. Every sister, every wife, every minister, every teacher, like this is incredible. And he was kind of like, okay, so my name is Daniel. And I'm like, yeah, hi, I'm Stacey. Nice to meet you. Good, good. Okay, we're good. Like you can keep doing this with me. And I became his client. And then I became the first practitioner because I asked him to teach me this because I did say to him after, now I'm feeling fabulous. I mean, the technique works. I also had him in front of absolutely everybody I loved. And now I kept saying to them, because they loved me, they didn't know him and they backed me. So I sent him out across the country like, to visit friends to say, tell me if this guy's real. Tell me if this technique it really works, or it's just me thinking and hoping it's working, right? I put him in front of everybody I loved, and everybody I loved called me back and said, it works. Like, you got to be kidding me. Like, the kids are fabulous. My wife feels fabulous. I feel fabulous. Like, we're going to have him back. And I'm like, okay. So I was getting the confirmation from people that I respected, and they were being very honest with me. So that was a real turning point because it's like, okay, it doesn't just work for me. This like really does help people. And now he's helping people that I love and care about. So this is really cool. My son at the time was about 5 or 6, and he started to have the fixed code technique done. And he is now, he's like 22, 23, is a fixed code kid. He does not know a life without the fixed code. How cool is that? So first thing I did was become Daniel's client. Loved it. Second thing I did was put him in front of everybody I love. Third thing was I said to him, okay, I have no education in this background, like in this field. I I I've read, Celestine prophecies. Like, I've done a couple of little things that were fabulous. I know I'm a spiritual person. I've always had a spiritual connection. I've always had a very strong inner guidance system. I've definitely not lived by the world's rules or conformities or like none of those things. Like I've always been way outside the box of stuff. So I know I've always been on my own journey and always done things my own way and seen the world in a very different way. But I never kind of looked into modalities or learned stuff or followed people or anything like that. I still don't. And this is the only technique I know. So I said to him, if you can teach me how to do this, you can teach anybody how to do this because I have no background in this at all. And so he started to teach me. And then I became a practitioner. And my private practice was off the charts. I was blown away. I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. This is incredible. And then one of my clients, who's now today, one of my dearest friends, said, you gotta teach me how to do this. You got because she was a body code worker. She's got like 5 different certifications and is a master in all of them. She's brilliant healer. She's a massage therapist of 30 years. She's a healer. She's fabulous. And she said, Stacey, you got to teach me how to do this. And I said, well, Daniel's coming over in about 15 minutes for a meeting. She was my last client of the day. And I said, why don't you ask him? And she's like, oh, okay, because she hadn't met him yet. And he walked through the door and she just threw her arms around him and said, teach me this, please teach me this. And he looked at me and he goes, okay, I guess we're here. And put a text out to all my clients saying, there's 25 spots. We're going to teach this on this weekend up at the resort if anybody's interested. And it was sold out like that. Like I was in shock. I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. And then that weekend we taught 25 people how to do it. And by the Sunday, everybody what was doing it. The whole afternoon was people, they were doing the work with each other. So it was a very, very cool weekend. And then we haven't stopped. That's when I created the online training because I wanted it to be available to anybody in the world without having to get on a plane and spend hotel fees and the whole thing and coming to see us live. So I did an online training and people from all over the world are taking the course and learning how to do this. We also have so many of our certified practitioners volunteer on a practitioner page that you can get a complimentary session and try this for yourself. So just go to the website at thefixedcode.com and go through the little questionnaire, and then it says click here, or like book now. Click that button, and you'll get over to the page. And everybody on that page is complimentary, and you can book more sessions with them. You can buy their packages. You can take fun courses that I've created because again, I create all sorts of amazing courses powered by the Fixed Code I take you on an incredible journey of inner healing, deep healing, and my courses are me. They are me going through what I'm teaching. I'm going through it like the week before I teach it. So it's raw, it's real, and everybody that takes them says, well, yeah, it was an awesome journey because I'm going through it with you. And then you just purchase a practitioner to back up the system so that they're there doing the work with you. And it's awesome. Like the support is incredible. So we have so many different ways of being able to support people on their healing journey, helping them by using this technique, giving people their lives back. Like in the sense of like the more you clear of like feeling sad or feeling hurt or feeling betrayed or feeling angry, all of those things gone, your life starts to feel different because these things wear us down. It taxes our nervous system, these things, these parasitic programs, and then they go up into the mind. And then we loop and loop and loop and loop. And we start to go crazy. And we're constantly in this loop. And we're screaming at people. We're like we're doing all sorts of things in our head. And nothing ever gets solved, obviously. And then it starts all over again. The conversation in our head starts right back at the beginning, where this technique stops all that. You have peace of mind. You have clarity. You have calmness. And it happens every time. Yeah.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. One, for sharing your story, your experiences, what got you here, what helped you connect to meet Daniel in the first place, the first journey you took with him, and just that knowing. I think so many of us helpers and healers will relate to that in such a powerful way because that's how we pretty much all got to where we are as helpers and healers is through an experience or multiple experiences or multiple traumas or whatever, and finding that thing or those multiple modalities that worked for us. And now we have that passion, which I could feel your passion, your excitement through every word, through your face, through your energy. When we have that passion within us, that's exactly what we want to do. We want to like stand up on the tallest building and hire a plane to ride it in the sky and say, hey, why don't you know about this? I didn't know about this. Let me tell you about this wonderful thing that changed my life and how it can change your life. And it may be multiple things that we've done. Like you said, your friend who is certified in all these different modalities, but it may just be one of those modalities that somebody truly resonates with, that they can connect to and that they can feel that change in their life. For me, the first modality I learned was meditation. And I was one of those people with the racing mind that never thought I could quiet my mind and think I could ever meditate. And from the minute I committed to learning it and mastering it, it was this like aha light bulb that just says, oh my God, this peace, this
Hmm.
clarity, this calm, and I can do this anytime. It happens every time I do it. And it can be 2 minutes, it can be 20 minutes, it can be an hour. I can take this journey. And so that was like the first modality that I was like, oh my God, everyone needs to do this. But a lot of people are just very adverse to meditation, or they're just like, oh no, I can't do that, or I can't quiet my mind. Fine. Okay, then there's other things, that I did and learned and tried a lot of somatic work, hypnotherapy, working with herbs. I mean, I threw myself into really learning all these different modalities because they brought me such peace. My experience was similar to yours in that, 5 years of hell or 6 years of hell where we function. We push it down, we deny it, ignore it, and we just continue to function and we're raising our kids and we're going to work. And that's honestly what I used to think resilience was. It was
Hmm.
my ability to push it down and function and still show up every day with a smile on my face, even though inside I was dying. I
Hmm.
was getting sick. I was having gut issues. I was having sleep issues, all these things. And nobody teaches us how to listen to those signs, those messages that our body is sending out to us. They teach us how to go to our doctor and get the quickest fix, get, a pill, try a new diet, all these things. But at the same time, we're still not learning to listen to our body.
Hmm.
And I think that awareness is such a powerful thing that we need to develop because once we have the awareness, then we can name it. then we can understand, like you were explaining, like, I can see all these things that were happening to me, but I can step back and look at them and say, wow, these things are no longer triggers for me.
Yeah. And that's what happens is that when these parasitic programs are disconnected, the problem isn't what you're thinking about. The problem is how you feel about what you're thinking about. So you can't stop thinking about whatever you're thinking about because the feeling is driving. That's what's actually causing the problem. That's what's stealing your energy. It's what's driving the thinking. It's how you feel. So if you didn't feel that way, you wouldn't be thinking about it. So with the fixed code, we disconnect the feeling, which is the problem. And what happens is that not only when you look at that event again, whatever you were thinking about, it's a neutral now because it's now just the event without the feeling. But one of the things that, and there's thousands of things I love about this technique, but this is one of them. When the feeling is removed at the root cause, what happens is that every feeling, every memory that you have that you feel that way about is also neutralized. Because again, it wasn't the event that was the problem. It's how you feel about the event that's the problem. And so that's how this technique is, I feel like ahead of the game. Like it's just different. As you start to learn the technique, you realize that you're learning a Tesla. Like if we make a metaphor that like there's cars, everybody's got cars, you've got, the diesel cars, gas cars, and then you got a Tesla. A lot of what is out there are gasoline cars. That's the thing. When you start learning the fixed code, the questions that you would ask for a gasoline car don't apply to the fixed code because the fixed code's a Tesla. So we have to ask very different questions when you're learning the fixed code because the answers, like, if we take the metaphor, people will say to me, okay, but like, what kind of gasoline do you use? If we were metaphor for the technique, I'm like, we don't use gasoline. And they're like, yeah, no, okay, so okay, so is it like diesel? I'm like, no, there's no gasoline. And they're like, well, that doesn't even make sense. I'm like, it does if it's a Tesla. Like, jump, come with me, take this quantum jump into a new futuristic idea of healing modalities. So we joke around and say that the fixed code is the free energy model of mind therapy because we leave no footprint. This technique leaves no energetic footprint. We don't change anything. It's a completely different model. We're not practitioners, we're not going in and doing anything, right? Where with a lot of modalities, the practitioner has to do all the heavy lifting. No, not at all. This technique doesn't have any of that because it's a completely different, it's like a gasoline car to a Tesla. So the questions that we start getting, kind of day one, day two of the training are, okay, but where do you get your gas? And we're like, we don't have gas. We don't need to think about where we're stopping at a gas station because there's no gas. There's no gas in the car. And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get this. Okay, it will land, I promise. But that's how we all were when it came to Tesla. It's like, where are they gonna get their gas? Like that was the first thing people said. Where are they gonna get their gas? You know, Tesla would stand there and go, there's no gas. Wrong question, you know? So that's kind of what this is like. And this is what I'm excited about, is that this is the future of mind therapy. And we're here. I've been saying this for 15 years. So it feels like the future's now. Like we finally arrived at the future because people are getting it. People are going, "Oh my gosh. This is so simple. This is so beautiful. There's no heavy lifting." And as a practitioner, most practitioners can work 2 to 3 people a day because they're exhausted and they've been triggered for hours. Like they're just run down. Where with the fixed code, I actually can work with 18 clients a day because my sessions are about 15 to 20 minutes and I don't need to know the content to be able to help somebody. So I'm not getting triggered at all. And I can literally help people all day long as our practitioners do. So you want to multiply your revenue by a lot, and doing 20-minute to 30-minute sessions max and having phenomenal impact and never being triggered and feeling inspired and excited and energized, you can add up so many more people to your day. You can help so many more people because this doesn't take a long time. This technique doesn't, it's not an hour of work, it's 5 minutes, which you've experienced. So it's not a arduous, or it's not like laborsome. And I was able to help you with what we call the biggest problem you have in your life right now. When you think about it, how does it make you feel? Whatever you were thinking about, we did the work on, took a couple minutes, and then I asked you at the end of it, when you think about that event, how does it make you feel? And you were pretty neutral when you thought about that event again. So that's how this works. And again, it's an onion. We have to keep working. We have to keep removing the layers of these horrible feelings because we've been feeling them our whole life. And they're attached to so many things. So the more work that we do with this technique, the faster we quit. And it's quick. It's quantum quick.
Yeah, absolutely. When I did that work with you, I had explained to you my experience with hypnotherapy. And usually a hypnotherapy session is 60 minutes. And you start that session with unpacking why you're there. And then you go through the journey. With what you did with me, you didn't even want to know. You're like, don't tell me anything. Just tell me how you're feeling. How are you connected to it? And then it was minutes. I couldn't even edit it. And it was so fast. I couldn't even tell you how many minutes, but it was only a few minutes. And the amount of release that my body experienced was just phenomenal. So I was so excited to get you on here as quickly as possible, because I think so many people, including myself, is we're stuck in this loop of trying all these different modalities and constantly living in this, I'm still broken, I'm still not fixed, I still have this. And it sounds like even though the fix code is not a one and done, it may be a
No.
multiple sessions, because there's multiple things that are trapped in our body and our minds that we have to release. But the amount of time, and like you explained, if you release this one belief, this one feeling that is attached to
Mhm.
so many different things, that it takes all of those away at one time, not just one piece here. And now, okay, now we got to go to your abandonment issues. And now we got to go to your betrayal issues. And we've got to unpack your childhood experience. And this technique, which I'm going to ask you to explain more about, but this technique like shortens that journey and those relived experiences, and you're able to just work through it quickly, gently,
Mhm.
easily, and
Mhm.
you get to experience that shift immediately, which is so
Yeah.
different than most modalities that are out there. And like you said, even for the therapist, because I have a friend that she works with other therapists about how not to take on that energy, how to make sure you're still protecting your own energy, how to do grounding techniques to protect your energy. And it sounds like this technique even takes that away.
I need to- Yeah, I don't need to protect myself at all because I'm not being triggered. One, I'm not asking the client to tell me anything, like in sessions, but also I am clearing me. So Eckhart Tolle talks about the pain body dance. He's right. If you are sad and I'm sad, we're going to hook up and talk about our sad stories. That is what these things do. If I am angry, I'm going to go find an angry person and we are going to bitch and bitch and bitch, right? Like that's what we do. If I've been betrayed, I'm going to attract someone that has been betrayed. And then now we're in the betrayal loop. Okay. It is nonstop. That is what we do. The pain body dance is real. My parasitic program of SAD will find a matching parasitic program called SAD because we're talking the same language. We're in the same frequency, right? Feels familiar. So what happens is that as a therapist or as a practitioner, you are listening all day long to someone else's stuff, but being triggered yourself. So if you've got a client that's talking about SAD and you have a parasitic program called SAD, you are doing everything you can to hold it together to be able to help that person. So you are shutting it down. You are using all of your energy to control yourself to not cry because you're thinking about your own stuff now. And your body is taxed. You're feeling heavy. You just want to go home and have a nap, or you want to go and buy a cake and eat that. Like, so many things are triggered when a parasitic program is activated and triggered in our bodies and at the unconscious level. So when, as practitioners, the more work that we do with this technique of our own healing, the less we are triggered in the world, in our business, in our marriage, with our kids. Because if I'm not afraid of being betrayed, I'm not afraid of being betrayed by my clients. I'm not afraid of being betrayed by my husband. I'm not afraid of being betrayed by my kids. I'm not afraid of being betrayed by the government, whatever. Like, it's gone. So I'm not walking around all day long worrying about how I'm going to get screwed, because that's the feeling of betrayed. You're afraid of it. And if a client is feeling betrayed and they're telling you their betrayed story, you are triggered. You are unconscious now, trying to sort this out on your own and then be able to help them. I don't feel betrayed. None of our practitioners feel betrayed or any of those horrible feelings. So when they're working with somebody, they're not triggered. They're very present. They're very calm. Their nervous system is absolutely relaxed. I cannot be triggered very often. And if I am, guess what I'm doing the moment I finish that session? I thank the client in my mind and up like this way to say, thank you, because I would never have found that on my own. Like, thank you for triggering that. And then I call Daniel and say, can you please do an extraction with me, please? And I tell him what it is. And he's like, ooh, good one. Oh, where'd you find that? I said, the client had it today. And I felt it. I was triggered and I would never have found it on my own. I was grateful. And then I get Daniel to do the extraction and then I'm free of that one. And life starts changing even more. So this is all about freedom of the mind, of the body, and the spirit. It just that you get clarity and calmness and peace and no more crap. Yeah, that's what this does. It just stops all the crap. Yeah. In these simple
Wonderful.
terms.
I
Yeah.
love it. I'm like in. I'm like ready to
Awesome.
go. Okay. So I want to know more so I can learn how to do this. What is the FIX code and what does the name FIX, F-I-X code actually stand for?
I'm so glad you asked. Thank you. So again, Rubik's Cube Mind and working with a genius, Daniel, it had to be a cool name. So it's an acronym and it stands for Flear. So the F is for Flear, which is Daniel's last name. The I is for your intuition. So the practitioner's intuition and the client's intuition. As you work together, when two or more are gathered, a third mind shows, right? Like you basically go into what we call like a magical space. And that's the I. And the X is for extraction, which is actually the process of the technique and again, this is all kind of made up. Like we made up words. We knew that when we were doing this, we were just making up words. And then the code part is whatever the client answers when we ask the magic question. And I will ask you and your listeners the magic question so everybody knows what this is. And this is how every session starts. Okay. Biggest problem you have in your life right now, when you think about it, how does it make you feel? If you could put it in one or two words, what would it be? And whatever is kind of floating up to the top right now, and it usually kind of comes up through here. Okay. And a word is there. That's what we will do. And that is what you will tell your practitioner, your complimentary session, because they're going to ask you the magic question, just like I did. Whatever that is, whatever you're thinking about that's causing the problems, when you think about that, how does it make you feel? That answer is what we're going to do the work on. Now, if you are feeling paralyzed or stuck or afraid or nervous or anxious, okay, like those words, that would tell a practitioner that you're making pictures of the future going wrong. So when you see those pictures, you're afraid of what? And whatever you answer, again, that's a fear, is what the practitioner will do the work with you on. Whatever that is. So you can see very quickly, just in this demonstration, we don't ask any questions outside of that. You do not have to tell us anything for us to be able to help you in a fixed code session. So whatever your answer is actually the code. So it's the fixed code. So very Rubik's Cube, lots of different meanings, lots of things all happening in the name. but that's what it is. And it's got Daniel's DNA. He's got it's his DNA through it. It is his, we call him the ancient. So it has all of that technology through it. Yeah.
And so many of the things that I wanted to ask you, like we've already touched on, covered, like how long or how many sessions does it take for
Yeah.
someone to typically see results? For me, it was 1 3 4 minute session and it was an immediate result. And I'm betting that that's what you and your coaches, standardly see with people.
Yeah. Yeah. And what happens is that we just through the many, many years of doing this, I find that there's it's the same amount of hours, but it can be broken up in different ways. So I have clients that do 16, 15 minutes. And it's kind of like more of like an on, like they can just call me whenever they want kind of feeling. Like I'm on speed dial, like they can just call or text anytime they want. Then there's two other packages. One is an 8 session half hour package, which is, I find, the best one. I love that one because you get to meet 8 times and you can do 2 times a week. You can do once a week for 8 weeks, like whatever you want. But I do find that that 8 hour mark or that 4 hour mark of, so it's 8 half hours or, kind of like 16, 15 minutes idea or the 4 1 hour. I used to do the 4 1 hour a lot, but when I started to break it down into 8 half hours, we covered so much more because we were able to have distance between each session so the person could actually feel the change in their lives and go like, yeah, that's actually not bothering me anymore. Where if we were in a 1 hour session, it would feel like it was going to still bother you. So we would do the work, but all we needed was a little bit of time because the code we just did solved all of that. But we don't know that 2 minutes after we just did it. So with the fixed code, so my favorite one is the 8 half hours. And all of our practitioners have that package. And again, like you can take, if you're a course person and you want to have fun doing courses like Breaking Out of the Maze, that's the Beyond Amazing one. That is awesome. And there's so many incredible extra bonus videos in that one. Ignite Your Passion to Purpose. That's like a super hardcore, like, let's get in there, let's ask some deep questions, and let's call the practitioner and say, okay, I'm in module 1, topic 1. I'm stuck. Like I'm super stuck. And the practitioner will go, excellent. Close your eyes. Let's get rid of this. So you work in cahoots with the course and a practitioner, and they keep helping you remove whatever's stopping you from your bigger, better self, from living your highest frequency. We've got one called Get Your Pink Back. Super fun. It's all about like, getting your sass back. Because when I did that course, I'd lost my sass. I had lost all that pink and sparkle and all of that excitement about life. I just it wasn't there and I wanted it back. So I created a course that said, I'm doing this. I'm going to go find my pink. Anybody want to come with me? And a whole whack of the practitioner said, I'm coming with you. Like, let's do this. And we did it. So all of my courses are built like that. There's another one called Bridge to Your Authentic Self. That was deep. That was a big one. That was like, you got to go in for that one. But again, always being backed up by a practitioner to help you through everything that you're stuck with, everything that you're dealing with, all of the pictures of the future going wrong that you're creating. So I ask really big questions in there. So my courses are very personal. They are about your own personal growth. You're not going to learn the fixed code. That's the flagship program where you are, if anybody out there, oh my gosh, is interested in learning this, best thing to have in your back pocket ever because it's yours. As you learn this, it becomes a part of you. You get to do it anywhere, anytime with anybody. And I've done this on planes, trains. I did it for a taxi driver one night who pulled over. He was losing it. He got a phone call and he was not okay. And this was about 10 years ago. And he had to pull the car over because he was kind of in a panic attack. I'm just sitting in the back kind of trying to, he was driving me to my hotel. And I just said to him, are you okay? And he was like, no, like, I'm not okay. And I said, whatever you're thinking about, how does it make you feel? And he told me and like very quickly. And I said, close your eyes. And he just followed my instructions. I couldn't believe it. And it took a couple of minutes and he opened his eyes and he was sitting looking frontwards the whole time. I was in the back thinking, okay, is he doing it? Like I was kind of doing one of those around the corner and going, is he doing it? And when he came back now and floated back into his body, he looked back at me and he goes, you're like an angel. Like, where did you come from? And of course, I didn't have to pay for my taxi that night, but it is profound like that. You don't need to know anything about the person to be able to help them in the moment. And this is how we do it with kids. This is how I helped my dearest friend who was passing away. Her she was in the hospital, quite delirious. She had been doing the fixed code with me forever. And she kept saying to me, I'm going the wrong way. And she was getting more and more and more frantic. Like, I'm going the wrong way. And her feet were going crazy. Like, like if you were you're in the car with a 16-year-old learning how to drive and you're in the passenger seat and your feet are trying to flat, to go on the brakes. She was doing that. Like, she was trying to stop from moving. And she kept saying to me, I'm going the wrong way. I'm going the wrong way. And she was terrified. But of course, I'm looking at my friend. I'm not thinking of the fixed code. I'm in this on my as a as her friend. And all of a sudden she kind of looked at me like, what are you doing? Like, do the fixed code with me. Like, stop this. Like, fix this. And I was like, oh my gosh. And it was just through telepathic language. She kind of told me to do this. So I said, close your eyes. And she did. And I did the fixed code with her. Now, again, she was on a ton of drugs. Like, she was passing away. And they were just, softening it all again. And I did the work with her and she was frantic. And I did the work and she opened her eyes. And all she said as she opened her eyes, she's like, oh, there you are. And she started talking to her mom and her dad and all the people that had passed away that were waiting for her, but she couldn't see them before. So this fear that she had that she was going the wrong way, she was literally feeling like she was going the wrong way. So when I did the work with her and she didn't feel like she was terrified she was going the wrong way, all of her family was there. All of the people that she wanted to see, call it in heaven, were now all standing at the edge of her bed, and she was okay to go. Like, it was one of the most profound moments ever. So you can use this technique on your kids in uh you know I forget what the hospice is. It doesn't matter what line of work you're in. If you're a librarian in a school and you want to learn how to do this, do it, because you can help kids nonstop and you never need to know a thing about what's going on with them. You just help them with that horrible feeling that is attached to horrible stuff, and it's gone in a couple of minutes. So this is truly one of the most empowering. This is the most empowering thing I have ever done in my life, is learn this technique, because it has empowered me to help people through this insane chaos we have on this planet right now. And it is helping humanity. It is helping human beings move through this chaos and this transition into and through ascension. We are here for ascension. We're here to learn. So I feel like I'm the luckiest girl in the world because I do know how to do this. And I do get to do this for a living, and I do get to help as many people as that ask me to. Yeah, I feel truly blessed with the gifts I've been given. And I want to share them. Yeah.
Man, you got me like at the edge of my seat. Like, okay, can we get done so that I can look at how to get certified to do this? And I'm thinking, I love that story. Thank you for sharing that story about your friend. I know that was very difficult to share, but such a beautiful connection that you helped her finally get past whatever darkness was keeping her from being
Exactly.
able to move to the light and
Exactly.
to just let go and to pass in peace. I mean, what a beautiful story. You can't ask for more than that.
Yeah. She did. She passed in peace. Yeah.
I'm thinking of my grandson who has been carrying the stress of being bullied since kindergarten, and he's 9 now, and they had to pull him out of school and homeschool him because it was so heavy for him that he feared going back to school and continuing to be bullied. And if that is one thing that I can take away from him,
In
that
five
is the
minutes.
world. Exactly. So, oh my God, Stacey, thank you. This is so powerful. I did want to ask you about what you were talking about with signing up for one of the courses. And you were saying how it's like a very hand in hand with a practitioner. And so if you're going through the course and you feel stuck or there's something that's coming up for you, and you're able to reach out to that practitioner and say, okay, I'm having this come up. Like, I need to work through this. Can you help me with the extraction? How many is that built into like the cost that people pay for the course? How many times are they able to utilize the practitioner to help them guide through things? Or is that still like a separate piece that they can purchase, like the 8 sessions? I mean, can you just explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, because there's two courses. One is like my courses, which are like for fun and they're $19, $27, $49. Those are the ones that you go and you buy and you have to purchase a practitioner to back up the videos. The online training to learn how to do this, you are kind of met at the door by me, by a practitioner, which we call a heal the healer. So you are introduced very quickly to a mentor that will move through, that is there for you, that will do as many extractions and the inner work with you as you ask for. We say 10 on the website. You get 10 complimentary sessions inside the online training, but you will find that you will meet some of your dearest friends as you start to meet all of these amazing people in the course, and they are here to help you. So you you will have their WhatsApp or you will have their email very quickly or their text, and you become connected, and you can text them at any time saying, I'm going through this right now. Can you help me? You pop on, like they're there for you. They're there to support you through your own healing journey. They're also there to help you through the online training. They're there to make sure that you're getting the that you're in the community, that you may not have to, you may not be wanting to talk in the community, but you're going to be able to see everybody else who's talking. You're going to hear about all of our courses that, or the like, inside the training. We meet once a month, Daniel and I and everybody, the practitioners and all the new students and old students, we all just come together and we talk about the technique and who can we help, and let's do some healing here today, that kind of thing. So it's all very interactive, but the moment you click the button, you are paired with someone that is awesome, and is there to support you through your journey as a client, like as you heal, but also to become a practitioner. And they get you ready for certification. So they will prepare you so that you're ready for certification. Yeah, in front of Daniel and I. Yeah.
I think that's just amazing. I mean, it's our experiences that our lived experiences that is what brings us here to do this work. And that's one of the things that I struggle with as a healer and a helper when I'm working with a client is I'm caught between this wanting to connect with the client by sharing my story and my experiences and how these different modalities help me walk through them, but also with the worry that sharing that experience could be a trigger for somebody. And I don't want to trigger them with my own experience or overshare. And at the same time, I don't want to have them show up at every session once a week, once every other week. And for the first 15, 20 minutes of that session is unpacking. I just listening to you and talking about this and being able to completely take that out of the equation.
Every healer, every practitioner, every transformational healer, every educator that knows the F.I.X code is so grateful that the first part's not there. Like, we come in, I care about you, I care about you, you care about me. So let's just get to work. Biggest problem you have in your life right now, when you think about it, how does it make you feel? You tell me, we do the extraction, then we can talk. And then it's like, hey, how's your grandson? Hey, how's this? Oh, did you do that extraction with him? Like, we chat, we can, and then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, there's something popping up. Yo, yeah, okay, something's going on here. And I'm like, okay, biggest problem you have in your life right now, when you think about it, how does it make you feel? So within 20 minutes, we can do 2 or 3 extractions. You've had one and you have felt a profound shift in your life. Imagine having 3 and then having an endless amount of options. Anytime that something comes up, you can contact your practitioner, your heal the healer, and be like, let's get this shit. I don't want it. Like, it doesn't belong to me. I don't want to feel this way anymore. And as you start to learn this, you start to be able to identify the crap and how many times I've landed in this sad or hurt or betrayed. And you will start to be able to identify it so fast. Like, I'm not me. I don't feel good. I'm running stories in my head. I want to punch the couch. I want to like slam doors, or I want to yell at somebody. I want to call that woman and just rip her a new one. Yeah, that's when you say stop, drop, and text Stacy, like, or your practitioner, because you are now being attacked by a parasitic program. It's taking you over. It's doing all the talking. It's making your hands go. You're going to pick up a phone and yell at somebody. And that's when we're just like, stop. It's the hardest thing to do, but I'm asking you to stop and text me because you're going to call me and we're going to get rid of this monster. And that's it. And it's gone in a couple minutes. And we can do it over the phone. I don't have to like get to my Zoom. You don't have to get to your Zoom. Do it over the phone. Like the amount of people, yeah, I know the amount of people, because I was the healer for many, many years. Well, up until like very recently, I was the one that did all the healer. So I know every single student. I know every single certified practitioner because I did the work with them. So anytime somebody was driving their car and they lost their shit about something or whatever, they would call me and say, I am not okay. I can pull off the road and be in like a Walmart parking lot in about 6 minutes. And I'm like, okay, I'll stay on the phone with you. They pull into a Walmart parking lot or gas station or whatever it is. They're like, okay, my eyes are closed. Let's do this. I'm like, okay. And we get rid of whatever the horrible feeling is. I can do this anywhere. And as a certified practitioner, you can do this anywhere. I've done, like I said, I've done it on planes, trains, the taxi. I've done it sitting at a baseball. I've probably done 100 extractions sitting at baseball games over my child's life. You know, just with helping moms, helping dads, helping kids. The kids all wanted to jump in my car to get a ride home because they wanted to do magic the whole way home. They wanted to get rid of embarrassed or the fear of dropping the ball or the fear of getting hit by the ball, or they just loved being in the car having extractions. And all of my son's friends knew what this was and they called it magic. And they loved it. And then, you know, one would say, oh, my mom needs that one. Oh, she is like that. Oh, my mom needs that one. I'm like, okay, I'll do the work with her when we get home. It's just part of my world. Yeah. To share this is amazing.
I immediately was thinking about after I had had my very first hypnotherapy session, and I felt that shift where I was like, oh my God, I'm not triggered by this anymore. Like, this is
Yes.
magic. Exactly. It's like,
Yeah.
this is magic. And so the next time something came up for me, I was like in the shower and I was like, oh, I need to schedule another hypnotherapy session. And I'm like hurrying through my shower and dry off and jump on the phone. And I, reach out to my hypnotherapist. And she's like, yeah, just jump on my website and schedule your appointment. It was weeks. It was weeks before I could get into her. Part of just making that appointment, part of identifying that I knew what my issue was, that I knew what my trigger was, that was empowering because then I wasn't reacting or lashing out or ruminating because I was like, okay, I know exactly what triggered me. Now I just need to release it. But it was like, okay, so I have this empowerment feeling like, okay, I'm here. I've got this. I know I'm going to see her in a week or 2 weeks and we're going to work through it. But still, it was that time, this huge distance from my next fix.
Literally. Yeah, literally. Like, and I think the longest you would wait is somebody saying, I'm in a meeting right now. Because a lot of our practitioners have jobs or they're with clients and they're like, I'm in a meeting right now, but I can call you in 20 minutes. It's like, okay. Or, or give me 5 minutes. Usually for me, it's give me 5 minutes. I'm in an elevator. Give me 5 minutes or whatever. Yeah. Because we can do this anywhere, anytime. I can step into a hallway and do it. I can step out of a meeting and do it. Like if I'm in, it's not, if I'm not the one presenting, I'm like, yeah, I can step out of this and help somebody really quickly. So yeah, no, one of our biggest mottos is how much we support each other through this journey. Well, as people are learning it, and then afterwards, the community is incredible.
Tell us a little bit more about your community.
Sure. So our community is only the students and the certified practitioners. So anybody that has taken the flagship course, which is the online training to learn how to do this. So the moment you're in, it's like you kind of meet everybody and everybody starts chatting and everybody's welcoming you in. If you need any extra volunteers for your certification, everybody tries to find you some and helps you and supports you. It's really just like a nonstop, like, I need somebody And anybody will jump in. If you put into the community, anybody available, like I'm kind of losing my shit right now, you'll have a bunch of people going, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free. Hey, I'll call you. And it's just a phenomenal group of women that want to share this with the world and help as many people as they can. Yeah. Like we keep it simple and we keep it very loving. It's very loving. It's very kind. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less, but yeah, our community is just a bunch of amazing women supporting a bunch of amazing women. Yeah.
And, that in general is so much different from my certification to become a health and life coach. I think I only got 3 coaching calls with one
Oh
of
yeah.
their coaches. Everything else was peer coaching. So as we were learning things, we would have a weekly or, a one time in each week where we would do peer coaching. So I would coach you,
Yeah.
you would coach me. Then we
Yeah.
would go on to the next thing. I would coach you, you would coach me, and we'd move on to the next thing. But I think there was only maybe 3 coaching calls with one of their actual coaches that kind of helped us tie it all together. And like the very last coaching call that I had in my bank, I was holding on till the very end in case I had that emergency or
Yeah.
whatever. But what that was for me was after we completed the pillar that talked about building your business, like how now do you turn this into a business? It was like, okay, well, you've taught me how to do all these things. What I need to know is the shortcut. What do I need to do and exactly what order to actually literally open my business so that, getting your EIN and your state and opening a bank account, if you don't do those things in a specific order, you can get stuck in this loop of you only get so far and then, nope, now I got to go do this first and then having to go back. And so, thinking about your community and this constant ability to be able to be like, okay, I need help with this thing to
Yeah.
achieve my certification, um, and being paired up with somebody.
Yeah, you're paired up with somebody immediately. So you have access to their, and it's not like you're working with them as you're not doing work on them. They're working on you. So you're coming to them as like a new student and you're going to experience the fixed code again and again and again through your own healing. So it's multi-layered where you're going to be learning as you're experiencing it. And the more releasing that you do, the better practitioner you become because you're now going to be able to see sad in someone else really quickly. You're going to be able to see hurt in someone else really quickly because it's no longer in you. So you can see it as clear as day. So the deeper that you go into your own healing through this experience, one, you're going to feel better. Two, you're going to become better at it at the technique. Three, you're going to master clarity, presence, and presence of the technique. And it's all multi-layered. I mean, I've done this many, many, many times and watched everybody do it and go through it. And it's very organic because every time you try it, you just feel better. And then when you feel like crap, you call and someone answers and you feel better again. And we just keep going. And the training is online. So you always have access to the training. You can watch module 1 20 times. You can watch it from 1 all the way through to, I think it's 66 videos. Like there's a lot going on. You are learning a lot. You can watch it fast. You can watch it super slow. You can watch it 10 times. You can watch it 40 times. Many people have said to me, oh my gosh, I love driving in the car and listening to module 4. I just love module 4. Like, cool, because you can listen to it like a podcast. People listen to it on their phone when they're at work. They listen to the modules and just like every time they hear it, they say, "Oh my gosh, I listened to module 1." And they've been a student for 6 years. And they'll say like, "I just listened to module 1. Oh my gosh, I heard it so differently." You said the exact same thing, obviously. But oh my gosh, because my knowledge level is so different, how profound. Like you nailed it. They're like, she goes, I can't believe it took me 6 years to hear it. And I'm like, sometimes it takes time. But every time you listen to the training, you are different. So you hear it differently. The layers of knowledge that are transmitted through this training is timeless. It's time, like that's the feedback. And it's true. I did it that way on purpose. I have a Rubik's Cube mind. I'm working with a genius. So it wasn't hard for me to do. So yeah, it's all very exciting, and you do learn how to do this. Everybody learns how to do this. you do walk away knowing how to do this technique.
Since I have
Yeah.
you here, I'm going to ask as many quick questions as I can for not only for myself, but for other people who are now feeling the same level of excitement that I'm feeling. On average, how long is the program? And is there a specific amount of time that people have to complete it? So, like my schooling for being a certified coach was, you can complete it in as little as 6 months, but we give you a year. That's it.
No, there's no timing because honestly, this is your journey. Every single person is on their own journey, their own timing, their own, load of life. We've got students that've got 6 kids. That they're busy. So I don't care if it takes you 10 years to learn this. I don't care if and I don't care if you ever get certified. Doesn't matter to me. You can't charge and you can't bring this into your private practice if you're not certified. Like that's not cool. But if you just plan on working with your kids and your family and your friends, you don't ever have to come and get certified. We don't care because you're not doing it like in the sense of like technically for clients. But if you want to charge for this, you do have to become certified. And certification is there's no written test. Like it's nothing like that. This is work. You need 10 volunteers and you need to do in total 4 hours of work with them. So we suggest breaking it into 8 half hours. So you're working with 10 volunteers. So you're helping 10 people in your life, or sometimes strangers. We can find people for you too that are always interested in free healing. But it's 10 people. Each person has to have a total of 4 hours. So your total training requirements are 40 hours of practice. And you need to have had a minimum of 10 healing sessions with your mentor, your Heal the Healer, so that we know that you've done your own inner work at the minimum level. And your mentor will sign off on that. Your Heal the Healer will just like click a button to let us know you've done your minimum of 10 healing sessions. You will then submit little videos from your 10 people just saying, I absolutely loved working with her. Like she's really good at this and whatever. But she's completed 4 hours with me so that we have the proof. And then when you are ready and comfortable, you and your Heal the Healer book a session with Daniel and I, like through a private link, and you pop on and you ask one of your volunteers to come on with you. And then you ask them the magic question. You then do the work with them and you do the technique for that client as we observe. And that's your certification. There's no written anything. There's nothing. It's not like that. I don't care. It doesn't matter to us the knowledge, like it's how you're doing it, how you have rapport with your client, the level of harmony in yourself. How healed are you? Like that's what we're looking at. The ability to help the next person, that's what we're looking for. Are you connecting with the client? Are you in rapport? Do you know and understand why you're doing and saying what you're saying? You know what I mean? Like this is a ancient ascension tool. This has got a lot of punch. So knowing that the person understands that they have access to something very, very cool, like having respect for it. Like there's a lot that we're looking for. Nobody comes to this with any malintention. Like there's only we meet people that are truly awesome and want to do this and help people with the purest intention. So we don't attract people that are just, I don't know, we just don't. Everybody's just super awesome.
Yeah, not just working with somebody who's just trying to achieve a certification to have something else on their resume.
Doesn't
This
work.
is, oh my goodness, I'm mind blown, Stacey. This is
Lovely.
beautiful. This is amazing. Um,
Thanks.
and coming up with 10 people that need fixing, that want to be fixed,
Yeah.
watching
Yeah.
their excitement, watching their change. That's nothing. I mean, that's amazing. Plus, like you said, you get that 10 sessions with your own mentor. So you're doing your own work. You're doing
Minimum.
these, yeah,
Yes.
minimum, because you're doing all of it
Yeah.
through what you're learning and being able to reach out to your mentor or for somebody else in the group to work through
Yep.
whatever's coming up for you.
And again,
I mean,
it's
that's
five
just,
minutes. Like you're only asking someone for help for 5 minutes. So you're not asking for an hour of someone's time. It's 5 minutes. Like I can be on a walk to go get milk and help you. Like, yeah, okay, I'm going to put my earbuds in. Call me and I'll help you as I walk down to go get my milk. That's how we all are. It's just like we got you. And that's kind of our motto. Like, we've got you. It's good. We got you. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Can
Yeah.
you remind people of the wonderful special offer you have so that people remember where
Yeah.
they can look on your website to schedule that free gift?
Yes, 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 for sure. So if you go to thefixcode.com, right there, right at the beginning, it's the first thing you see. Just put in your name and your email, click the button. Then you're going to go through a questionnaire, which is basically the magic question, and you just have to tick the boxes. Keep going. Again, then it'll ask you about the making pictures in the future going wrong. Click some boxes, keep hitting submit. And as you keep hitting submit, you're going to come to the very last page and it's going to say book here or click here. And it's going to have like a URL and it's like click, or it's going to say book here or something. And click that button and you're going to get transported over to a practitioner page. Now, we offer 2 complimentary sessions. You can try 2 different people. So please don't abuse that. And align yourself with somebody that, or like pick somebody that you align with, but they are volunteering their time to showcase this technique and to give you the experience of the fixed code. And if you like them and you want to try them again, ask for their booking, ask to become a client. If you want to take some of our courses, my courses, then ask them, say, I want to, what are Stacey's courses? I want to take them. And would you be my practitioner? Like just keep asking them questions. And if you want to do the online training and learn how to do this, go back to the original page at thefixcode.com and there's a certification tabby thing. Look down it, you'll see everything that you get. And you just got to click the button and the course is yours like that. Like it's in your inbox or like it's in your library like that. And it's yours. And then the moment I see it click into my computer that says someone's now you've got a new student in the online training, I will match you up with somebody and introduce you pretty quickly and the healing starts and the learning starts. Yeah. Happens pretty quick.
I love it. Thank you so much. I'll make sure to
You're
include
very
all your
welcome.
contact information
Thank you.
in the show notes so that people can find you. They can find you on your social media platforms. They can go to your website. So all of that will be included in the show notes.
Thank you.
But thank you for everything that you have shared today and just the passion that you brought to this conversation was beyond imaginable. I mean, it flows out of you, it bubbles out of you. I feel it through the screen, I feel it through your smile. Um, and it's got my excitement at a whole nother level for today. So I'm super excited. And this conversation really reminded me that, trauma doesn't just live in our memories, it lives in our nervous system, it lives in our beliefs, our relationships, and our sense of identity. But suffering doesn't have to be a life sentence. If today's conversation resonated with you, share it with somebody who may be slightly carrying more than they let on. Healing is possible, and sometimes it begins with a single decision to try something different. Make sure you check out the show notes. Make sure you head over and experience these 2 free complimentary sessions with a practitioner. As always, keep choosing resilience, keep choosing growth, and keep pouring happiness on tap. Again, Stacey, thank you so much. Is there any final thought that you want to leave with our audience?
Just know that it's not your fault how you're feeling and that these parasitic programs are there and the fixed code can get rid of them for you. And you can just start living not caring about all that crap that's running around in your head. There really is hope to freedom, and this is it. This is the way to do it. It's an easy way to do it. Yeah.
Thank you so much again, Stacey, for your time. I appreciate you
You're
so much.
welcome.
It was such a pleasure getting to have this conversation with you. I'm so thrilled for the connection that I got to experience in meeting you and having these multiple conversations. So thank you again. And I look forward to learning more from you and with you. So thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you.